Okay, it's childish, can't be no homegirl dropping like the NASDAQ. Move white girls like this toast.
Up my podcast. Welcome to the lounge, everyone. Sorry we're missing for a little bit. I'm your host, Gavin Shaw, alongside co-host Matthew Tonis.
How's it going, world?
And we have a very special guest today, straight in from the bench mob, Jonathan Diago, better known to lounge residents as John from Guam. John,
What's
how are you doing
everybody?
on this beautiful night?
It's a good night, sort of ish.
All right, well,
sort of ish.
Okay,
We'll get into that.
Don't be too excited, John. We're going to start off with your area of expertise, Guam. Can you
It's
tell
all
us?
in the name, Gavin.
Can you potentially tell us some of the most famous visitors to the island territory?
All right, famous visitors. Probably the most famous visitor, depending on who you ask, is Pope John Paul II. Actually, he visited Guam during the 1980s. He had a statue built in his honor, which rotates throughout the day, made entirely out of bronze.
There are rumors going around that you're named after him. Is that true?
That's actually not true. I was named after my father, whose name is John Diego.
Oh,
That's why. Another famous visitor to Guam, Nicolas Cage, President Obama.
Of course.
Bands such as Revolution, Iration, Pepper, The Dirty Heads, Slightly Stupid. Spud Webb, actually, former NBA player Spud Webb has visited.
Wow, that's a good group of visitors. Now, tell us a little bit about the island itself, John.
Okay, the island itself, it's an island paradise, as you would imagine. Sort of, if I could compare it to something that's more relatable, Hawaii. Very laid-back culture. The people are nice. Food is good.
That's good. You always want that.
It's a very close-knit society because everyone's family is like within driving distance of like 20, 25 minutes, and there are people like you will know someone who knows someone who knows someone on the island. So
is it
pretty
true
much
that you get around by riding on the backs of sea turtles?
Actually, that used to be, but we've more recently we've started using cars.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
No, the last like 5 to 10 years.
No. Over the past century, I'd say.
Now, are there any people that we would know that are from the island paradise?
All
Who
right.
is the most famous Guamese?
Let me consult the internet here. I can't really rank them, but I can name a few that I know. Ann Curry, famous journalist for NBC News.
So no
for
relation
NBC
to
News.
Steph then.
Actually, no.
No.
We have former Major League Baseball player John Hattig, played for the Toronto Blue Jays in 2006, had a double and an RBI against the Boston Red Sox and Seattle Mariners.
That's unfortunate.
And also, for our last sort of another famous person was Donovan Patton, otherwise known as Joe from Blue's Clues.
Incredible.
The man who replaced
Shocker.
Steve.
Rest in peace, Steve.
Rest in peace, Steve. And some other famous people from Guam, we have singer Pia Mia. She's relatively new to the sort of Hollywood scene. She hangs out with the Jenners and the Kardashians. And another famous person, I'd say Olympic swimmer Benjamin Schulte. I grew up racing against this kid. He's raced in the long distance swimming in the Olympics. He's been to London.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, he's a very impressive kid. Good for him. You know, that basically lives in the pool. So,
John, any ties to your favorite sport?
any ties to my? Oh yes, thank you for reminding me about that. Current head coach of the Portland Trailblazers.
Very successful current head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers.
Yes, Terry Stotts, former assistant to Rick Carlisle, graduate of the University of Oklahoma, and grew up on the island of Guam, went to the high school of John F. Kennedy High School, and his mother was my mother's grade school English teacher.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
Quite the connection
Small
there.
world.
So by association,
True.
I am Terry Stotts. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow, that's a slippery slope argument if I've ever heard one.
No logical flaws there, John. Now I want to move on to your next area of expertise. If you can't see it because this is a podcast, but John has plenty, or one more specifically, Marvel poster in his room. But he's definitely, I know from experience, loves to read comics and is very knowledgeable on them. John, tell us what you think about the new Captain America movie, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
All right.
What are your expectations? Comes out tonight, actually.
Actually, yeah, it comes out in a few hours, and I'm excited for it because I've been impressed with the way Marvel has handled its newer movies leading up into the Avengers. Even though many people saw the first Captain America as really just a movie that's meant to set up the Avengers entirely, I personally liked it. That it has its flaws. It's definitely not a perfect movie, but I feel like this next one is going to take it up to the next level because of its villain is I think significantly better than the first villain of Red Skull.
He's not red. Yeah.
Yeah, the new villain in this movie, the Winter Soldier, it's in the title. Is actually I'm not sure if I should say who he is because of,
no spoilers.
I won't spoil it, but I'm just saying.
I think anyone who's who's a fan of the franchise knows who he is, but
I just won't say it for the sake of the audience. Just be prepared. It's going to be an interesting twist once we find out who the villain is, and also they're introducing a new superhero, I believe, by the name of Hawkman, I believe.
Hawkeye?
No, not Hawkeye. Oh, Falcon. Falcon. Sorry, Falcon. Being played by, I believe his name is, I can't. Anthony Mackie.
All right.
He's a superhero with wings on his arms, like technological.
So he looks like a
wings.
Falcon.
Pretty much, yeah. And in this movie, also we have Scarlett Johansson returning, Samuel L. Jackson, Chris Evans as usual playing Captain America, Kobe Smulders coming back,
Wow.
and this
Second
is
favorite Kobe.
behind Kobe
it's easily my favorite Kobe.
Kobe Beef. Kobe Smulders.
Yeah, I know we go back to Grantland a lot on this podcast and all Fireside podcasts. We're all big fans, and they actually had a really interesting recent interview with Kevin Feige, who's Marvel Studios president, and they had. I want to get your take on some of these things. It's really interesting. Marvel actually has a calendar that plans out movie events up to 2028. Do you think that's going way too far in the future? Because I don't see I see a lot of the actors being different at that point.
Well, of course the actors are going to be different, but I mean I totally sort of expected them to have some sort of calendar because from the success of their earlier movies, they're now swimming in cash.
Right.
So they're going to spend it on all these other superheroes, and I also read that article that you mentioned,
yeah.
and they plan to cover many more heroes that
they specifically qualified that they have more than 8,000 heroes at their disposal. So if they don't want to do reboots, they have plenty of options.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Marvel is a vast universe, and I'm looking forward to seeing from what depth they'll pluck heroes from to create a movie.
One movie future movie that I'm excited to see that many people don't really know who the hero is about is Ant-Man. His potential movie.
That's a very interesting
hero because he's actually one of the founding members of the original Avengers.
Right.
And he wasn't in the first Avengers movie, so that caught a lot of people off guard.
And Ant-Man comes out before Avengers 2.
Mm-hmm. So maybe we could see him in Avengers 2, maybe not.
Who is playing Ant-Man? Do we know?
I saw a movie poster. Let me consult the internet. Right here. Oh, they already have it scheduled for 2015, according to IMDb.
Which is the same year that Age of Ultron comes out.
Yes.
Oh, Paul Rudd.
Really?
Supposedly cast as Scott Lang, or a.k.a. the Ant-Man. And Patrick Wilson is also, and Michael Douglas are also cast.
Do you guys have any movies of Paul Rudd's that you like in serious roles? I've never.
I mean, he
could play it in a funny way, of course. But
Ant-Man, I mean, just
Ryan Reynolds was mildly successful when he played. I believe it was Deadpool in the X-Men.
But Seth Rogen was very unsuccessful.
That was one. I don't even want to talk about that. Let's move on from superheroes. Now we're gonna go on to one of our regular segments, the Tonus Kaylee relationship update.
Ooh, let's go.
Meeting the Fam Part 2.
Ooh.
So Tonus has already met Kaylee's family. It wasn't a disaster by any means. Seems to have been a little bit awkward. Just to give you guys an update, if you missed our first podcast, Kaylee Nassif's grandfather repeatedly referred to Tonus as Kaylee's.
No.
It was your father. Oh, that's worse. Okay, referred to Tonus as a friend.
Mm.
Yes.
So that's something.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a nice little play date, and we are going to talk about Kaylee meeting your mother, Tonus. How do you think that went?
I think it went very well.
Really?
We went out to a nice dinner Monday night. We went out relatively early because Kaylee wanted to watch the How I Met Your Mother season finale. We'll get your opinion on that
on Monday.
On Monday.
We're having How I Met Your Mother 1 week later. That's how long we all needed to process.
We'll get you. And I was planning, and I went to Diamondbacks opening day. So we went relatively early. We went to a nice dinner, nice conversation. It was a solid evening.
Okay, well that's I heard mostly good reviews, but Kaylee also mentioned that this was a slight critique of you.
Yes.
That you didn't introduce her when she got into the car, so there was no Mom. This is Kaylee. Kaylee. This is Mama Tonis.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Oh, boy.
I was pretty rattled by you yelling and begging to go with us to dinner.
I didn't actually want to. I mean, like, if you had invited me, I would have loved
I
to
wasn't
attend,
planning on inviting you,
which,
but the fact
which
that
was rude, but
you kept pestering me.
I'm sorry I had you
going.
rattled.
You rattled.
It was
I laughed.
The intention was in good humor, Tonis. I apologize.
I understand it was, but
did I also rattle you when I jumped up and waved hi to Mama Tonis?
yes, that was actually the good portion of the car ride.
I heard I was the majority of the conversation.
Was the conversation about
so
how,
if I went, I think it would have gone so much smoother.
about how you
I would have
embarrassed
just
me.
lubricated the conversation.
Stop.
Excuse me.
We're going to move on.
One word that we always say to Gavin Shaw. Stop. Please.
Too far.
Stop.
Dude.
All right. Keep going. What's
okay,
next?
now next we have shout-outs. Do you guys have any shout-outs? Anyone in the lounge? Any friends you guys want to give a quick shout-out?
I'd like to give a quick shout out to one Zachary Lenhart. Goes to UMass Amherst.
Friend of the podcast?
Friend of the podcast.
Let's
He has
go.
listened to. He told me he's listened to every one of our podcasts so far. I don't know if he's caught the most recent edition of the Bench Mob yet. Shout out to Zach. Shout out to our good friend Matthew Barry. He's home in San Diego this week.
Enjoying the
San
fresh
Diego.
Mexican food.
Enjoying the fresh Mexican
There were
food
quotation
from
marks
Taco
around
Bell.
fresh. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
AKA Taco Bell.
Exactly. Shout out to those two guys. Anyone else?
I'd like to shout out a close personal friend of the podcast for very good reason, Mr. Rod Christopher Lebrecq, current resident of Palm Springs, former resident of Guam, my friend since the very first grade. He's listened to all of our podcasts pretty much, and he's a big fan of the Bench Mob. He's actually subscribed to Fireside Podcasts on YouTube.
That's big.
It's big.
Shout out to Taylor Place resident Sarah Jarvis for not overreacting during the How I Met Your Mother finale and processing it in a normal, logical, correct way. Her TV opinions tend to sync up with my own, so I appreciate that. Also, shout out to Quentin Woods, good friends with Sarah to say the least.
That's
And
literally the
No
least
relation
you
to
can
Tiger
say.
Woods.
big supporter when the podcast was dealing with some haters last week.
Ooh,
Shout out to Quentin and shout out to Marcus Bear Hall and Omar Etman, NYU students. Omar specifically requested a shout out this week, and he said it would leverage me over Joaquin the Fiend Pinto. So,
Joaquin.
So I'll take that any day.
Also, quick shout out to myself for predicting the mother's death for a long time.
Whoa! So we're doing spoilers on who the enemy is going to be in Captain America, which all comic book fans know. We're not doing spoilers on like the biggest plot line.
Again, it's been a week.
I know, but what if someone's in the middle of the series and like they intentionally didn't want to know?
Well, then.
Well, tough beans. Life is like that. You'll get spoilers every now and then.
How many times has someone ruined Lost for people?
Yeah.
This is fair.
How many times have people ruined Game of Thrones unintentionally?
How
for
many
people?
times was Breaking Bad ruined for
Oh
you?
my gosh.
Once, thanks. Negative shout out to Sarah Jarvis.
I'd like to shout out Mr. Matthew Tonis sitting next to me here for his Colt McCoy jersey.
Thank you
Point,
very
my
much.
man.
Recent signing.
Was there a mistake in the order? Or?
No, this is a 100% legitimate
Cleveland Browns
quote-unquote
jersey.
order.
I'm sorry. Okay, now let's move on to my personal favorite segment, Stalling with Shawl. If you're not familiar with my work, I don't do it. And let's talk about the metaphorical, proverbial, whatever word you want to use, elephant in the room.
Yes.
The human event essay. How are you boys doing?
I'm currently sitting on 1,190 words. I don't think I'll be going anywhere anytime soon because I have a radio shift soon, but progress is slowly being made.
Yes, I am in the beginning stages, to say the least.
Sound rattled.
I'm not that rattled because I have a full day longer than you two fellows. And I'm planning on staying in Cronkite for a long time tonight, working on this essay, getting it done so I can watch the Final Four.
Let's go.
How about you, Baby G?
Well, I will inevitably be done by the time of the Final Four because mine is due Friday, as is Jonathan's. Thank
That
you.
doesn't mean you're going to be done.
I'm a risk taker.
No, but you've gotten them done.
Yeah,
that's
of course.
the point.
That's
point
the
of
point.
the story. You do the work.
I do the work, and I have a solid introduction, a very thorough outline, and I think I've talked to Dr. Catherine. Named one of the shout out to Catherine O'Flaherty, named one of the top 40 Irish Americans in the country.
Yes,
Really?
I think it's 40 under 40.
40 under 40, whatever.
Still
It was
impressive.
Incredible. Yeah, so
She's
she
a really
gave me
nice professor.
incredibly nice. She gave me some really good advice on my essay. It was much appreciated. I feel pretty confident, not super rattled, even though I essentially have a day to write the full essay. All right, now let's go to our final segment, Turn Down with Tonus.
Wait, hold on. We have to give our Anthony Presido quote of the week.
Oh my god, I
yes.
almost forgot for the second
We can't
week.
forget twice in a row. We have a couple
Give
quotes.
the people
we have
what
a
they
couple
want.
quotes from Anthony. First quote, when talking about public displays of affection, Anthony chimes in saying, PDA is only when you don't go far enough.
And if you don't know Anthony, that was very conservative by his mark.
That's true.
He's normally significantly more inappropriate. Than that.
Also, another quote from Anthony came a couple nights ago via Snapchat from one Sarah Jarvis. We got a Snapchat of Anthony's face with a quote, presumably from him, saying, Obama is future Wiz Khalifa. I'm not sure why that was said, in what context, or what that even means, but that's something that Anthony told people.
Obama's going to be young, wild, and free. Got to release him from the office, and he'll be out there.
We out here, Bambi. We out here.
We out here.
All right.
That just about wraps up the podcast for this week. Check out Fireside Podcast. We also have a basketball podcast called
The Bench Mob.
If you're interested in hearing more of John, he actually hosts that one, and hopefully we'll have a show on the Blaze next semester with that. And if anyone has any podcast ideas, we want to get some more podcasts.
Feedback is always welcome.
Feedback is welcome on ours, but if you want to have your own podcast, just contact us and we'll try to get you on Fireside.
Oh, of course.
All right, thanks so much for tuning in for Matthew Tonus. We will be back on Monday with your How I Met Your Mother podcast. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Childish Gambino, homegirls dropping like the Naztec.